True happiness and inner peace is not something that can be bought. It's something that must be asked for, understood, and experienced. As we all develop on our path of awakening, it's important to address the issue that fundamentally we currently live in a world based around money. But perhaps the most important thing is to realize that money is inherently neither good nor bad. It is neutral, and what's really important is a relationship we create with it, knowing that it, like anything else, is an energetic tool that we can use within the spiritual adventure to help one another. This is Skull Babylon, and you're about to listen to episode 80 of Paradigm Shift Radio, as we welcomed on our good friend Justin Hippie Jedi, a young entrepreneur and freedom artist who utilized his own spiritual knowledge and understanding to attract an abundance of money into his life as a means to help spread inspiring messages to help others awaken within the Matrix. Leading by example, Justin's charismatic and enthusiastic attitude aims to help inspire thousands and millions of people across the world. Paradigm Shift Radio is a weekly interactive community project that we invite you to be a part of, as well as enjoying and browsing all of the past inspirational and insightful episodes on YouTube and MP3 for your convenience at paradigmshiftcentral.com/PSR. And be sure to browse more of the inspiring movies, videos, and community content through the main website as well. This show is a platform for us to document and tell our ongoing story as spiritual beings in human form. If you enjoy what this global project is helping create within this world, then please sign up as a monthly Paradigm Shift Central supporter for a microtransaction of $1 a week or $4 a month at paradigmshiftcentral.com/donate. Much like the theme of the episode, money can be thought of as an energetic vote for what you would like to see more of within this reality. So help us help everyone as we all continue to grow together. Share Paradigm Shift Radio with your friends, invite them to get involved with future episodes, connect with other shifters in the 24/7 live chat through the main website, never stop learning, and enjoy the show. One love. Happiness, freedom, success. Some would say that these are all ideas that are within our birthright. What does happiness look like? What does freedom look like? How can we move through our life with a positive attitude that is not only going to change what we attract into it, but ripple out to affect the lives of those around us? It's obvious that there is more than one answer, and in fact, some may say that the truth lies between the question and the answer, which is something that we are going to explore here tonight on another exciting, inspirational, community-driven episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. This is your co-host for the evening, Skull Babylon, welcoming you once again to another awesome community episode. And of course, a huge shout out to those of you who are joining us live in the moment, in the present now. And there's just something really special about being here in the live aspect of the show. And of course, shout out to all of those of you who are listening to this in the future now. And of course, everybody who is specifically with us in the live chat. And if you aren't in the live chat yet and you're listening to Blog Talk, just scroll down the page a bit. You'll see this whole live chat option, and you can jump in there and log in with your Facebook, and it's pretty easy to do so. So again, just introducing what this show is about for those of you who might not be too familiar, and just really bringing everybody up to speed. But before we do, well, let me just say, tonight's episode, we're going to be having our good buddy Justin Hippie Jedi on, talking about the subject matter of finding spiritual balance in a financial world. And this is a really, really hot topic, I think. And there's a lot of interesting ideas and opinions that we can talk about. And not only just talking about that, but we're also just going to talk about spiritual awareness in general. What are some important things that we should know while pursuing our own spiritual path? And I know our good buddy Justin is very, very keen on helping share information about things such as the Pineal Gland and DMT, and well, not even just DMT, but the fact chemical DMT released in dreaming, everything's equally unreal, etc., etc. We'll be getting into that a little bit later, and talking about like meditation practices and just some very valuable life philosophies that can help us sort of flow through these experiences that we have on a day-to-day basis, and really be getting the most out of it as we continue to develop ourselves, as we continue to progress on the spiritual journey that we are all on. So that's what we're going to be getting into. But before we do that, just quick introduction. Paradigm Shift Radio is a branch of paradigmshiftcentral.com, and of course that's a website that those of you who have not checked it out yet can feel free to check out, because what that is a portal for conscious media. This radio show is just one aspect of the conscious media that we are producing through this global project, and through there you can find a whole bunch of really cool videos, lots of videos that I've been putting up on the YouTubes. I've got about 347 YouTubes as it is right now, 80 of those being the Paradigm Shift Radio episodes, and a lot of those being episodes of me and my buddies going out and doing free hugs out on the street to help connect with people, because the other aspect of this Paradigm Shift thing, and just long story short, is that the Paradigm Shift project is about encouraging the creation of physical community where people are. The main thing that we focus on is the idea of creating open-minded discussion and meditation circles. So it all started as a single club with me and my buddies about 5 years ago, through the media that we've been creating, through the ongoing energy being committed by numerous amounts of people all across the globe. There are now more than 50 Paradigm Shift communities all across this planet, and of course you can find those through the main website, and be inspired by this show and think about creating a Paradigm Shift community where you are. And do not be discouraged if you feel that you're in a situation where, you know, you're just like, there's no one else who I have to talk to. This is a really difficult thing. That may be all the more reason for you to create a Paradigm Shift community where you are, because the basic idea is that if you build it, they will come, and synchronicity will be able to attract that for you and be able to connect you with the people who you are sort of meant to connect with, who in theory, in a nonlinear sense, you are already connected with. I love getting into the multidimensional aspect of reality and the idea that we exist beyond the present moment in very, very real ways, and we'll probably get into that a little bit more. But again, check that out, and of course, check out facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio. And one thing that I will be able to mention to people before we just officially get rolling is the opportunity for people to get a chance to win some free shift buttons. The shift buttons are tools that we within the Paradigm Shift community use to help evoke synchronistic moments and help create opportunities where we can use these buttons that have the website for the main Paradigm Shift and the radio show on it, and be able to give them to people and be able to spark conversation, because all the buttons have conscious imagery on them, and you can order these at any time. Go to ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons, and if you order those through there, then use the promo code PSR to get bonus buttons included in your order. And ordering those is also promoting and supporting this project as a whole. But for the people who want to get in the draw, because we do give away some free shift buttons every episode, send a message to facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio. Very simple. Send a message. Just tell us that you want to be entered into the draw, and tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're up to, what you think of the show, and just maybe how you'd use the buttons. And we'll be doing that draw later in the show. And I will say that part of the way that we're doing this is by being able to pay it forward. And if you want to be able to help contribute to more free shift buttons, then you can send a complimentary donation to the GoFundMe page at GoFundMe.com/ParadigmShiftCentral. And if we get another donation through there, then we'll be giving out another batch of free shift buttons. So right now we're giving away one batch, but if people go to GoFundMe.com/ParadigmShiftCentral, which I just posted in the live chat, then you will be able to help contribute to an additional batch of free buttons that we'll be giving out here tonight. So that's the awesome stuff that we are providing the people in the community with, helping. That's the idea. It's not just about buttons. It's about the opportunities that the buttons help create. So the buttons are a great way to connect with people in your community and to help plant those seeds of awakening. So again, just bring you guys up to speed. In terms of my day, long day so far, I've been involved with the Spirituality Expo here in London, and that's the 5th year that they've been doing that. We had the Paradigm Shift London table, and it was just another really good experience. And the long thing that I got out of it, that I'm just going to share with you real quick, is the idea that there was a lot of older people at the expo, and for them it was very inspiring to see a young person such as myself and such as my friends involved in a lot of this paradigm shifty stuff, and being able to help carry the momentum forward. And we'll talk about this with Justin. The reason that, like, you know, we strive so much to create freedom is because we want to see freedom for our children and our children's children, which is exactly what we're doing here tonight. We're laying down those foundations. We're planting those conscious seeds and just helping inspire people to be the change that they want to see where they are. So we're going to get moving into the episode, and we're going to bring Justin on. But before we do that, we're going to bring on my good buddy Mario, who's going to be co-hosting with us tonight. And Mario is quite familiar with Justin, and he's very familiar in terms of like the financial marketing end of things, which is something that Justin is coming from, and something that we'll be talking about tonight, like in terms of his success story, how he used the law of attraction to bring success into his life, and how he is helping other people bring freedom into their life as well. So before we bring Justin on, let me just bring on Mario, and then we'll be bringing Justin on right after that. So Mario, if you're ready, bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio once again. Here we go. Yo, Mario. Check, check. He may have himself muted. Mario, if you have yourself muted, you might want to unmute yourself. Okay, I'm not entirely sure if what's going on his end, but he should be able to hear us either way. So we'll be figuring that out, and in the meantime, I guess we can just sort of hop right over and bring Justin on because no point in stalling. But Mario will be able to catch up with us as we continue to go. And Mario, he's an awesome guy, and he's also helping admin the Instagram that we got. So Instagram.com/ParadigmShiftRadio for those of you who are on Instagram. Feel free to check that out. But until we get Mario back on, we're just gonna bring on Justin, and we're gonna get this conversation rolling. So Justin, if you're ready, we're gonna bring you on to Paradigm Shift Radio. Here we go. Hello, brother. Oh, hold on. My mistake. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna bring on Mario. I understand what happened here.
Cool.
No, okay, there we go. Mario, you can hear me now, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, perfect. All right, okay, I apologize. That actually was my fault. But we're going to bring on Justin just now that we got things figured out. So, Mario, hello. Say hello to the internets, and we'll get rolling along with you, and we'll just bring Justin on. I apologize for that. So, Justin, if you're ready, we're going to bring you into this conversation. Here we go. Hello,
Excellent.
Brother, can you hear me?
Yeah.
There we go.
We can hear you. Is that Mario on the other end?
Mario's with us, too, now. We got it figured out.
Awesome, excellent. Yeah, I'm just excited to be here and share my story, as well as how to get involved with community. I saw some questions playing around in the chat, and I really appreciate all the questions, and super excited to be answering questions later and getting some interaction. But I'll just shoot off and get this going with my story, if that's cool, brother.
Yeah. Let me just, because I don't want to just snub Mario real quick. Mario, was there anything that you wanted to say real quick before Justin sort of introduces his story?
Well, I just have I've been following Justin for quite a while, and he's into, I came across him in my journey of finding freedom with the internet and this digital age that we're in. I just felt like we have the keys to the universe with Google, and I started researching like how to work from home, how to find real freedom to travel anywhere in the world, and truly just express myself through my videos that I've been doing, music videos, and like expressing this spiritual message behind it, because at first it was the keyword, the law of attraction, that sparked someone new inside. I became like aware of how the state that we put ourselves in, being happy most of the time, attracts more circumstances and gratefulness to have in life, and feeding the body like thy temple. That's what the Hippie Jedi, how he names it, like just taking care of thy body and finding our infinite potential. So I've been listening to Paradigm Shift Radio for quite a while, I don't remember exactly, but I've known Skull Babylon for quite a while. And this show has provided a great perspective of really like veganism. When I heard to become vegan at first, that sparked a lot of interest on pretty much waking up to question anymore what we feed ourselves with. And this show has a great perspective. And then the perspective of marketing with the Hippie Jedi, he sparked, like, I'm a part of a company, and his message is the one that resonated with me, and that kept me motivated. That took me to the event in Washington, D.C., and it just inspired me a lot to follow my dreams. So it's an honor to be here with the Hippie Jedi.
For sure. And let me just preface this. Justin can be connected with through Facebook. There's a few pages. One of them you can go to. Justin Hippie Jedi fan page is one of them, and I'll post a link for that in the live chat as well. He's got a few active fan pages. But yeah, Justin, I like the fact that you are heavily involved in this marketing ending of things, something that I will personally admit I'm not entirely, like, my brain just doesn't fully get that, which is why I wanted to have you on the show tonight, because I think you do you are a good middleman for the spiritual community and the marketing community to be able to help combine the two, to be able to say, like, this is something real, this is something that can be achieved by anyone. But and even the fact that you use the title Jedi, I mean, we'll get into that. But again, Justin, from here, man, just introduce yourself, whatever it is that you would like to introduce yourself as.
Right on. I just want to give a shout out to Mario. I really appreciate the warm introduction, and thank you too, brother. I believe we're like all one, and like we all have the same message. We're all here for the same purpose, almost as if we're wanderers, right? We're all awakened, and it's like we've gone through this forgetting, and we're going to get into all sorts of very interesting stuff tonight. But I'll premise by saying I am 30 years old. I got into Kung Fu at a younger age, about 16 years old, and since then I got into meditation, I got into Qigong, the art of cultivating vital energy. I started studying Tai Chi, and I became fascinated with energy. I started reading books, as many as I can get my hands on meditation techniques from like Buddhist monks or Taoists from China, and just would, learn a technique and just practice it and do breath techniques for like hours. And so it didn't take more than a few years before my energy centers and my meridians, my energy channels, they started to awaken, and I can just become so conscious of energy. It's like I created extrasensory senses, and it was just like awesome. So I began to become like awakened, and just like everyone else, I was sitting through school being like, this is total BS, and I am wasting my time. And I started to start to see through the system. It's just like the way the Matrix explained, and it's just my whole perception on reality started to change once I started to connect the dots between the books I was reading. And that's another thing I want to talk about. It's the simplest things that you can become really good at, such as reading every day. That can mean all the difference, and being able to, develop and awaken extrasensory, and also really use the imagination and be able to understand emotion better through the way it's expressed through word, because, we can read that word and automatically just our heart is activated, and it just gives us these extra, and there's this interesting statistic. Beth Moses, a friend of mine, posted on Facebook today, and I just want to share this, and everyone here knows this, but nonetheless the facts are interesting. 33% of high school graduates never read another book for the rest of their lives. 33%. 42% of college grads never read another book after college. 57% of new books are not read to completion. 80% of U.S. families did not buy or read a book last year. Everyone's plugged into, the media and all the BS and the garbage. So I just started to become aware, and once I became awakened, I wanted nothing more than to awaken other people. But at the time, I didn't have the money, I didn't have the finances, I didn't have the resources, and I was working a crappy job. So I realized that if I wanted to really make a difference, I needed to master the energy flow of money, because I was sick and tired of being broke. I was sick and tired of not being able to afford the good food, like going to Whole Foods. You see how expensive food can be in there, and it's like it just connects all the pieces, and I started realizing all this food in the supermarket, not Whole Foods, but regular supermarkets, it's just crap. And if it's not natural, I realize it's not good for your body, and a lot of this stuff is toxins, and these toxins can be very bad. And these are the things I like to talk about and share with other people. So I said, how can I bridge the two? How can I create the resources so I can be a successful entrepreneur, so that I can have the resources to fund anything that I want to do? I can have the resources to give back to as many people as I want to give back to, and I can have the resources to be able to live my life the way that I choose to live it. And so, reading books, I've always been a fan of reading. I remember reading a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, and this book really opened my eyes to the reality that people care about themselves first and foremost. And I also learned a lesson in this book that if you can help people get what they want, you will get what you want. So I said, if I can just become good at helping people get what they want, well, then naturally, the universe is going to reward me times, 100-fold. So I'm like, So I started to follow my passion, and I pursued my career as being an entrepreneur, and I just basically about this is going back in 2007, I left the United States. I read a book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and it's all about outsourcing and, living overseas and living your dreams, realizing it doesn't really it doesn't cost $100,000 to live your dream. After doing the math, after just spending 3 weeks in Thailand, I realized for about $2,500 a month, you can live like a king overseas if only you had the resources and the income. So since then I've been an entrepreneur, but the truth is I wasn't successful from the gate. I failed at first. I had a little success, being involved with different companies, and then, the company owner breaks a thumbnail and decides to close up shop, and all the, distributors or the marketers or affiliates, we're all just left without pay. I've had all my ups and downs, but for about 5 years, I reached like a plateau of being able to hit about $3,000 or $4,000 a month, and I couldn't get any further. It was like I was stuck there for the longest time, which I am not complaining, because I was able to live a satisfactory, happy, and what I consider abundant life from that money. However, I realized it wasn't helping me get to my dreams, so I realized I needed a mentor. And it's not that you need a mentor, but if you can lock arms with a community of people just like this Paradigm Shift Radio, we all share the same frequency, the same vibration, and we can really connect with one another. This is the fastest way to really make change, because I realize the power when people come together and, for example, white magic or, meditating together and creating change, because I realized there were studies, and I don't remember the exact name, but I remember listening to David Wilcock from Divine Cosmos, who I'm a fan of, and he was sharing a scientific study where a group of hundreds of meditators that were very gifted meditators got together, gathered around this lake where the water wasn't that crystalline. It was actually pretty nasty, and it was pretty apparent by sight, and these meditators started visualizing that change, and after a period of time, the water started to clear up. So I realized there's really power inside the human spirit. There's power inside your heart. There's power inside your imagination. So my main objective and my purpose here on life is empower people to do the things that which empower them, and helping people achieve their dreams and being able to make money doing what it is you love, because I realize money is a big problem in most people's lives. Mm-hmm. Heck, I'm aware, the people behind the money machine, and I'm aware of the forces of evil, and I do agree. I wish there was no money system, because I believe the universe was, created to be abundant in its nature, and it could be, however, that's just not the way that things are, and I realized when I was struggling, I'd always be so stressful versus when I was able to, for example, just make $2,000 a month and not have to go to a job. I was able to meditate more, right? Able to do more Qigong, able to follow my passions more, able to read more books, right? And so that's really my message, is find out why you're here. A question you have to just ask yourself. What is my purpose here? And once you have that answer, you'll just instantly download it and know that's your reason why. I'm sure most of you here already know why you're here. And then just create a game plan or a strategy to achieve that. Start asking the universe, and this is how law of attraction really works, by the way. And I came across the law of attraction when I saw the movie The Secret. It awakened things inside of me. I'm like, wow, this has been hidden from me my whole life, because I didn't have that full understanding that we did have the power to control our perception. However, through my journey, I realized there's a lot more than just rightful thinking. I realized that your emotions are the most powerful connection between here and infinite intelligence. So I realized it's your vibration. And what's the best way to raise your vibration? Well, number one, you can decalcify your pineal gland, which is why I created this video where I took all my knowledge. I started becoming very aware of the hiddenness and the secrecy behind this when I went to a David Wilcock conference in 2010. I believe it was his Convergence conference, and we spent an entire day on the pineal gland, and I got to learn all about this stuff and how to, basically decalcify it to where that, most people, and I think I'm safe to say most people's pineal glands are heavily calcified from poisons and toxins that are in everyday things, because people really don't know no better, because they truly suppress this information and you really have to seek it out. So this video just connects all the pieces that I've been able to experience as well as gain through insightful people who are very gifted at sharing, their abilities. So I want nothing more than to really get this information out there, because I realize by meditation and, spiritual practices, it can be yoga, it can be Tai Chi, it can just be, focusing upon your breathing. There's tons of techniques, but the main purpose is to exercise that every day, the same way you exercise your mind every day by reading, and by doing these basic things every day, you're just destined to become awakened. And I'll tell you this, you can awaken your third eye, drinking fluoride water, because if you focus on meditation and you actually develop your spiritual arts, because before I even knew about fluoride, I've awakened my chakras and my third eye. So I just wanted to share hope out there that meditation is so powerful, it can trump fluoride. But what happens when you start, eating healthy and avoiding fluoride and avoiding all the toxins, many of which I share in this video, well, then things just start to accelerate at exponential speeds. And this is how you collapse time frames. This is how you transform and, pretty much become a completely different person over a short period of time, because you're growing so fast. So, that's become my message. So I saw the law of attraction. I'm like, this information is great, but in order to truly teach, before I can start teaching and feeling good about it, about the law of attraction, I felt like I needed to, manifest my dreams. And my dreams was to manifest $1 million. Ever since I was young, I just said, I want to do something great. I know I'm here for a reason, and because of that, I know I'm going to live an abundant, filled life and be able to give so much and be able to help so much. And also, because I am an example of it, I'll be able to truly teach it, right? So I started making a lot of money, and I started to share, some of the secrets, because it's actually super simple once you understand how to do it. But I'll tell you this, I failed for a really long time before finding the right mentor. So that's another big aspect of being able to be mentored by someone, the same way that Obi-Wan and Anakin, in Star Wars, they had a mentor, they had a teacher. The same way at my Kung Fu school, I had a Sifu, right? I had a Kung Fu teacher to teach me the forms, to watch me, and when I do something wrong, how to tweak it and fix it. And long story short, 2 years ago, because for about 5 years I was stuck at making, $2,000 to $4,000 a month. And then I lost everything and had no money to my name pretty much. Came across another opportunity, had a mentor that was not just preaching the dream and living the nightmare, as most people who are marketing online do, but he was truly living the life, because I invested into myself to go to the event, to see him with my own 2 eyes and see what it was all about, and gauge the energy and see how I felt and see the community. And I decided to just listen to what he told me to do. And long story short, within 30 days of doing that, I started making more money in 1 month than what I was previously making in a year. And recently we hit the $1 million mark inside the company, and we're so excited because the only reason that we're so successful is because we've been able to help so many team members. We've been able to connect so many people. I've been able to share my videos with millions of people across the internet, and I've been able to build my entire business from Facebook. And the message is, regardless what you're marketing, regardless what you're doing, regardless if you're just trying to gather a community of light thinkers, of, enlightened individuals that think like you are so you can make a difference in this world, You can do that through Facebook, and it's not rocket science, right? All you need to know is figure out somebody who's already doing it, right? I get about 50 to 100 just from one account messages a day, and I actually spend a few hours a day replying to each and every single person, but that's my job here. That's my, and earlier you brought this up. You said I'm like a person to bridge the gap between the marketing and the spiritual community, and that's pretty much what I do, because I am an entrepreneur and I am a light worker / Jedi by heart. So I realize if I can become really good at what I do, if I can empower enough people, if I can inspire enough people, if I, for example, right now, that pineal gland video, I believe in it because it's awakening so many people. It's gotten over 11,000 shares on one of my Facebook pages. I'm excited about that. I'm actually spending about $700 to $1,000 a day in Facebook ads because I can afford to do that, to be able to share that knowledge and be able to give back and help empower and also unlock key elements of people's minds and make that impact, because I believe in that ripple effect, paying it forward. And so that's pretty much, what I do. I share knowledge, right? And, I help people get what they want, help connect people from where they are to their dreams in the shortest amount of time possible, because I feel that's my mission as a light worker. And I look at light workers in all different aspects of society. I see light workers in music, like you were playing some enlightening music earlier, helping awaken consciousness and expand it. I look at Bob Marley as one of my favorite musicians, and Bob Marley once said, alcohol is the destruction of a nation and herb is the healing of a nation, and I just resonate with that. I look at light workers like my brother Tupac Shakur, one of my favorite, just spiritual beings of all time, because of the change he was making and impacting and sharing. I look at light workers, there may even be a few light workers inside Hollywood, and who knows, it may be George Lucas for sharing Star Wars with us, right? And helping enlightening us, a person who was ahead of his time. Maybe Steven Spielberg creating the first movie about E.T., right? Going back probably in the 70s before I was even born, but maybe he is a light worker and here to just share a message and help awaken people. And I see that in everyday people too. I see light workers, and ordinary people when I walk into Subway, and they're just of a good vibration of consciousness. But at the end of the day, my problem is money got people enslaved, but I realize that you can control the flow of energy, which is money, and if you are abundant in ideas, if you are abundant in your imagination, if you are abundant in thinking, then you have infinite ideas, and money can be created literally out of thin air, and it's never a problem of not having enough money, because typically it's your way of thinking that has got you exactly where you are. So all you do is pretty much change your vibration, become aware, start becoming aware, start putting the right things into your body. There's herbal medicines, there's, natural remedies and plant medicine like ayahuasca, that shamans have been practicing for thousands of years. There's magical mushrooms. There's many things that produce DMT, and I feel like maybe they're God's helpers. I listen to Terrence McKenna because he just blows my mind, like every time I listen to this dude.
Oh, yeah.
And I read one of his books, and it's called Food of the Gods. And in it, he talks about the way people, including legendary people, shamans, what they use to basically access God consciousness. And I believe if God created it, maybe it's here for a reason, and maybe under the right shamanic guidance with the right person, that can help someone elevate, and be able to awaken things inside of them they never knew they existed. But do I feel somebody has to use plant medicine? Absolutely not. I believe if you do Qigong every day, I believe if you actually meditate every day, you will awaken all your chakras. You will develop extrasensory perception. You read a book every day. You will exercise your imagination. You will start thinking abundantly. You start plugging into more paradigm shift radio and plugging more into conscious awareness. And and then naturally you start to think that way. In the same way we detoxified the pineal gland from fluoride, we need to do the same thing with all the negativity and all the negative vibes, such as in the TV, all the negativity from the radio, and all the other ways they use black magic and witchcraft to manipulate the human psyche and also the unconscious mind, which is basically something you need to protect, because this is access to Pandora's box and opening up things and creations of just infinite possibilities. So I know I'm just like ranting in a million different directions, but dude, I just start to get passionate the more I go. So if you have any questions or anything, dude, just stop me.
No, man. I love your energy. I think it's absolutely great, and I mean it's funny because like I know you've done a lot of presentations like up on stage, and I can tell that even though we're on a radio, it's pretty easy for somebody listening to this to just imagine you up on stage and us just like really just like feeding off that vibe that you're putting out there, man. But no, it's great. Actually, one thing I was just gonna say from a technical side of things, I'm not really sure if it's a really big problem for anybody else, but there's just a little bit of an echo off your end. It's not too bad. It's just probably because you're in like a larger room. I don't know. I was just going to say, if it's possible for you to maybe go into a smaller room, that might just sort of help with that. But that's just like a secondary thing. But what I would, you're right. There's a lot of different ways to sort of get into this conversation, and I want to be able to get Mario involved with this as well. I want to ask like some really key questions and sort of work our way towards first, among other things, like what is an entrepreneur, so to speak, is something that I want to ask, and get into that just like for those people who aren't really even familiar, just explaining that side of things to them and how that sort of works, and again relating back to the idea of how do we achieve spiritual balance in the financial world sort of thing. But the question that I just sort of want to get into first and just sort of like let you respond to this, and we'll segue into the other stuff, is the idea of freedom. Freedom is a very subjective thing, and for me, even the discussion of freedom really takes me back to some of my philosophy classes in university. But that's something I want to ask you, Justin. What does freedom mean to you? And like how is that something that you would want to see people bring more abundance of into their life?
Right on, man. And I'm excited about that because that's the name of our next event here in less than 2 weeks in Miami, our Freedom event. And When I spoke in Denver 6 months ago, it was in front of the largest audience I've ever spoken in front of. There was about 6,000 plus people, and my message was freedom. I actually had that freedom speech, and it just brought tears to most people's eyes. It was amazing. And just to be able to speak life and basically, I believe when somebody's mind is stretched, it can never go back to its original form. And when someone realizes that, and they truly not just realize but feel it, that freedom is their birthright, right? And they realize that not only is it their birthright, but it's a choice, right? And it's a decision, and somebody can decide right there to become free and instantly become free, and it's that powerful. And I believe there's three critical elements that, if you were to envision, let's say, the shape of a triangle, you would have spiritually, which I believe there's a lot of people who are, the mentally dead, and they're just like their pineal gland is totally decalcified, and they have no idea what is going on. And, spiritual abundance is a big aspect of freedom, because it's an aspect of who we truly are. And then we have, the financial or the monetary, because we live in a monetary-based society where everything revolves around money. If you want to take a vacation, you need money. If you want to do something, you need resources, and it all comes back to money. And then you have the mental element, which is the personal development, which is another aspect of what I do that I am so geeked over, because I feel this is where the biggest breakthroughs are. You want to help someone make money? Teach them how to think properly, right? It's the personal development side when people have breakthroughs, abundance and attracting money and self-mastery. That's when things become simple. So that's what I think about freedom. There's three elements. They're all critical, and I feel you can have them all. You deserve to have them all. It's just a choice, and you can teach other people to have it all, because the truth is it's not hard. It's actually easy. It's just the way society is all backwards. Society and school teaches us we should get an education and spend all this money and go to college to learn information that's outdated by the time you get your degree, and you just wasted all this valuable time. And even if you do get a job, you're typically making $10 or $20 an hour, whereas that's putting a price on what you're worth, whereas you can just up your own self ante to the universe by providing value and providing value to a marketplace, and then just get paid in return in abundance. And the more people that you can help, the more people, and the more abundant you will become, and the more your dreams will be able to expand, and the more good you'll be able to do. So now, I'm so excited to be able to get on stage and connect with people, because when I went to my first event, that's when I had the transformation, because I'll just be truthful. At the time, I didn't believe it was possible to make more than $5,000 a month with an online business, because I was never able to do it in 5 years. So I said it must be impossible, because at the time I was generating leads online and phone number, email, and name, and then I would call them, and then I'd sit on the phone and I'd call cold leads, and I'd call sometimes hundreds of people a day, and I got so burnt out, and it caused all these issues with my relationship because I was spending all this time on the phone. It was just strictly ridiculous. Then I got to an event, and I started learning from people who made more than $30,000 a month, and none of them used the phone to build their business. That's it, period. So I'm like, maybe there's a way, right? And I started implementing what they were showing me, and now I build my business without picking up the phone. The only time I pick up my phone is when I do awesome calls, for the team, or I do calls for here, and I appreciate being a guest here, or get to do a webinar or training with some new team members who are already in our business. But the thing is, you can build a business and still have a life. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because if you can turn your business mobile, you'd be able to travel to anywhere in the world. And a part of, we feel like it's our purpose also to experience different culture, because every time we visited a different country, it's been an enlightenment in itself just to gain that experience. Like the 3 weeks we just spent in Thailand, it was a life-changing experience. The week that we spent on Haiti when it was my birthday, and, I looked at my wife and I said, it's my birthday today. What do you want to do? And she's like, what do you mean? I said, pick somewhere and let's just go. She's like, my family's from Haiti. You've never been there. Let's go. So I'm like, sure. And then the same day, bought a ticket to Haiti, and our friend came, and we freaking went to Haiti for a week, and we got to experience what poverty is really like. And that was enlightening, because it humbles you down to realize that how many people need some enlightenment, some awakening. Some people just need what you have. Some people just need the gift that you're able to provide, that you were blessed to really give out to the community or the marketplace, right? And if you can do that, I'm telling you, I think that's where fulfillment and happiness is going to lie, when you can satisfy all elements of freedom.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Mario, do you want to... Yeah, go ahead, Mario. I want to let you jump in there.
Yeah, I have my opinions on entrepreneurship. I believe we are all creators, and like you were talking about light workers, we're creators. We have this creative side with imagination that animals don't have, and that really is being an entrepreneur, is creating something for yourself, looking at the industry, how it's progressing and quickly advancing with the internet. Automating yourself, your creations can be automated, and having leverage with videos. And that's my opinion on entrepreneurship. Business as a whole is like becoming more automated. People are losing jobs because of it, and the economy is just shifting in a way. They called it, I believe, the New World Order. I think it's a new world economy, and you can really build your own economy through this. You can build businesses easier than ever. With systems. It's really all about which system you go through. There's the educational system, which is outdated, like Justin said. It's to create workers, people that work for the creations of man. And that's a system you can choose to follow, or you can choose to follow different systems. and really open your mind to new possibilities that are not mainstream just yet, but that I believe we are pioneers doing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool,
and
man.
The tipping point,
Go ahead.
One last thing. I read the book, The Tipping Point, and basically it explains how messages go and transmit like wildfire. Like, how does a message really impact the most people is through word of mouth, and that's really what the industry knows. So there will always be a need for people. It's not only technology. There needs to be the operator of that technology, the creator, and you can step into your power through that, through a personal development journey.
Definitely. Cool. All right. Well, I will say at this point, time is already flying, but the good news is that we're the pilots, so we're going to still be able to steer this in a few directions. And some things that I really want to get into, just sort of like looking at this from the bigger picture. Just people kind of looking in at this, they see a person like Justin, and he's talking about how he's making like $3,000-$4,000 a month, or even more than that, and stuff like that. And then a lot of people would be listening to that, and they would probably have a hard time relating to it, I think. And if anything, there's probably almost like a subconscious part where there's sort of like this aspect of envy that sort of gets brought into play as well. And I mean, for me too, I'm still a little bit confused, and with the idea of clarity being the objective here, I guess my question is, Justin, in the best way that you can, in layman's terms, can you really explain like where this money is coming from that you are manifesting, and like what does it mean to be an entrepreneur, and why was this something that you were so attracted to? And just kind of like in terms of your story and everything like that, because I mean, for me personally, like the whole marketing thing, like I said, like I just have a hard time wrapping my head around it. And again, how is that something that can be relative and something that I can relate to, being a person who doesn't make X number of dollars within a month, yet I would like to in some way or another, yet not necessarily go down the route of being an entrepreneur, but just in some other ways, if that sort of
right on,
something.
Man. Excellent questions, and those are also very common. I believe also as creators, we have that entrepreneurial spirit to be able to like manifest a dream or turn $1 into a dream. You know what I mean? And it's that sensation I get just thinking about it that makes that so powerful. And it's not, to me, it's not about the money. It's the person you become on the journey, and then once you succeed, that growth that you experience it's incredible. I believe these are life lessons that we are created to, experience. So I think there's just a magic in that, and so I feel it's a part of my spirit. I've just always had that entrepreneurial spirit to be able to, do something big or think outside the box and not think like, the rest of the masses. Regarding, gaining the financial abundance, I'll go back into my story. So I went to this event, and then I start making insane amounts of money. And the reason I believe I was able to do that was I chose a mentor who was making insane amounts of money, but the driving factor was putting people first and helping awaken people and empower people. And I said, I just want to, be able to do what he does. I got around him. I did things outside the box that probably most people wouldn't do. I started thinking, I'm like, what can I do, to help him versus, say, asking him for help, because I figured the masses would just walk up to him and say, what can you do to help me? So I just started looking at things different, and I basically earned his energy and attention by doing what he, preached to do and following his instructions. And from that, it took 30 days literally to just have a huge breakthrough and realize what I was doing wrong, because I just needed some shifts and adjustments, because I wasn't, generating leads the way I supposed to have been. I didn't have the social influence that I had at the time. I didn't have communities of people behind me, supporting me in everything that I do, So I had to learn a lot of things, and I decided to just empty my cup and I started to use the philosophies that I learned through Kung Fu and reading lots of books in Buddhism and Taoism and just things I was very much into, and really applying the spiritual growth that I have attained over the years and the personal development, and all that life experience into, kind of just forgetting everything and then just, doing exactly, what I was told to do, and it just worked really, really wonderfully, and it just happened to manifest very, very fast. I also must say, my type of results are not typical. I also do believe the reason I am where I'm at is because I failed and struggled for 5 years, creating a business and then losing everything, or joining a business and then losing everything, and I developed so many skills over the years, so I just want to say my results are not typical. Not everyone's going to go out there and create, millions of dollars because you apply something you learn. I think it's really in your personal growth more than anything as a person that's going to determine your success, with the humbleness of, understanding that the more we know, the less we know. Also, for an example, I realized the more money I made, the more money I realized I didn't have, because there's a market for everything, and regardless how much money you have, there's somebody with more. Regardless how good I get as a player of chess, which is one of my hobbies, is playing chess since I was a child, regardless how good I am, there's always hundreds of people that are going to be way better than I. Regardless how strong you are, there's going to be other people who are stronger than you. So I realize sometimes the more you have, the less you have, and sometimes we just need to empty the mind, or Bruce Lee would say empty the cup. And also, I'm going to just leave this with this. Bruce Lee was a big mentor of mine growing up. I remember reading the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, and he only had 5 movies in his lifetime, but I believe his words and his energy and his vibration will live forever, as long as we're talking about him the way we still do today. And there's something he said that really always resonated with me, which was a Kung Fu application which can be used as a metaphor for life. And he said this: I don't fear the opponent who has practiced 10,000 different kicks one time. I fear the opponent who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. And that goes the same for marketing, and I'm just going to give you an example. By deciding to focus and learn how to use Facebook correctly to build my empire online, as simple as that. And it's crazy just thinking about that, but I decided about a year and a half ago, Facebook is exponentially growing faster than you can reach everybody. If I can learn how to market on this, granted there's other people, impacting other people's lives in the way I want to, and earning what the, marketplace determines that they're worth, because I feel I can create abundance. I feel I'm worth abundance because I believe my message is, golden, just like all of our light workers' messages is golden, and it's your birthright to attract abundance. It's your birthright to have abundance. It's your birthright not to fear money, because the moment you fear money, or the moment you have any negative emotion or unconscious gesture when you sense the word money, and I will say that most people do have some sort of envious lust, and it's not your fault, people. It's the fault of, the stupid society and just the way things are. However, we do have to at some point just take responsibility and say enough of the bullshit. Money, for starting now, money is no longer going to control me, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes by any means necessary that is ethical and of love and light vibration that I have to do to create this abundance, because you deserve to eat healthy. You deserve to be able to do wonderful things. You deserve to sink your toes into the hot white sand beaches of the world. You deserve to get on stages in front of thousands of people and leave to crying standing ovations because people have been awakened and, got something lit inside of them, this burning passion, like this candle or flame inside the third eye, just being lit. And then since that time and point, they realize that they can do anything. They realize that they're powerful beyond measure. They shift their paradigm. It's like their whole perception, because they chose to decide it and made a conscious decision and got around people that they needed to get around, and working on personal development, which is a very critical aspect. But I just believe, there is no sky is the limit. I believe it's limitless. I believe there's things beyond the skies. I believe that there's civilizations beyond the earth. I believe that we're just a small, maybe grain of sand in the cosmic world, right? And here we are just floating around. Here we are just in this box. You know, you're probably laying down in bed right now, or maybe you're driving or listening to the replay or meditating or sitting, relaxing, stretching, doing some yoga, and this earth is spinning, and you're in this box, right, disconnecting you from Earth pretty much in a lot of ways, and then we're just, you know, spinning, and we're in this new part of the cosmos, and as we continue journey, it's like nobody really knows what's going on, and I'm, you know, humble enough to know that I do know nothing I don't know much. I don't have all the questions. I don't have the answers, because I realize there's so much we don't know. I remember a story of, you know, an Italian astronomer by the name of Galileo, and, you know, I believe they put him to death for, you know, believing that the Earth spins around, you know, with this, the way that it does, and with around the sun and the moon inside, and they thought he was crazy, right? And then I start to think, you know, in a broader perspective, maybe the forces of evil and that just demonic energy that exists today, you know, that controls a lot of society and just controls a lot of things, you know, just bad things, chemtrails and the like, you know, MSGs in our food, and fluoride in our water, and mercury in our vaccinations, and, you know, a dumbed-down educational system, and, you know, making prison systems big business where it's in their best benefit to just start arresting people for any reason they can find to fill the prison to keep everything going. And, you know, I just see through all that. And the truth is, you have the power, and once the people realize that they have the power, guess what happens? The people at the top of the pyramid or the Illuminati triangle lose all their power because they collapse, because the people have awakened. So the spirit of an entrepreneur is to follow your passion, and if your passion is freedom, follow that passion of freedom by any means necessary, and just make a decision that I will do whatever it takes of love and light. That's it, period, because that's why I am here to do. But I also understand if somebody has not connected to their big reason why, if they have not took the time to connect to their purpose, this can be the biggest conflict, this can be the biggest issue, and this can be your biggest work. And once you go through this work, you get that transformation. And I also realize that everything that you have attracted in your life, you deserve it, right? Every situation you attracted in your life, you deserve it. Whether we understand it or not, I'm not saying you have to have ultimate understanding. All I'm saying is we attract things in life for a certain reason. I know now that I've overcome these struggles, I can look at things a different way, outside the box, and realize that every adversity I had, including back in, I believe it was 2011, I was in China, the end of 2010 and 2011. I was living in China teaching English, right, for $1,200 a month, trying to build the business part-time because the company just took away, went out of business or changed something, and the company crumbled, and we lost all our income, and we had to start over, and I had nothing, and I wasn't moving back in with my parents or my wife's parents because that just wouldn't work. So I said, frick it, I'm going to just move to China, going to teach English, and I'll just build the business on my downtime, part-time. And that was just 3 years ago, right? And then to see, how far someone can go on their journey, and the biggest factor is having that dream and really believing in the dream and cultivating the dream. And every time you have a naysayer or someone of negative energy, which will happen, and it'll even happen online, I'll be real, the more successful I became, the more people would hate on me and, just write me a bad message just to say how evil I was because I had a lot of money, right? And then I realized, in my perspective, I believe that if you don't have a lot of money, but you have the ability to create a lot of money, that it's greed not to create a lot of money because you're not able to give it away. You're not really able to, create change in a big way from a financial aspect point of things, which connects things. But I realized by empowering people people can do anything that they want, and money is just one aspect of what people want. A lot of people just want good health, you know. A lot of people pray, that they had, spirituality, or they had the time to meditate, or they had the time to do that. So let's just help people get what they truly want. Let's help people become free, and then in that, I believe we will free humanity. I believe there's, he talked about The Tipping Point, which is an excellent book, and I believe the golden age is actually here right now. I believe all the ancient civilizations that left, their, hieroglyphs and their prophecies and their ancient artifacts behind, I believe that there is a message, and I also believe that right now is that great awakening. I also believe that it's consciousness. I also believe that the second, the return of Christ is Christ consciousness. I also believe that consciousness is here. I also believe that consciousness is in all the indigos. I also believe that consciousness is within all the star children, and I know that their DNA is a little more evolved. I also believe that we're going into a fourth density. I do believe that the Earth is in a third, currently in a third density, and we're about to graduate. I don't know when that time will be. I do believe in, great prophets like the sleeping prophet Edgar Casey, and I can't wait to share some of this information where I share some of Casey's work, as well as there's a video I'm working on now, as well as the Law of One, which is, and anyone can, download these books for free on behalf of LL Research. You type in the Law of One ebook or just the Law of One off the website. And anyways, this 5-book series, I read this back in 2010 too, and that's how I came across David Wilcock, because he was a teacher of the Law of One, which has a very fascinating story in itself. But it provided a great awakening and understanding to some of the biggest mysteries in life, as far as like, how does soul harvesting work? How does the ascension process work? That's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to think on like, a God level, like how is life all created? How are planets created? How is Earth created? Where does energy come from? And then it just awakens other things that are very interesting. And I don't know if we have time to discuss, but the ET subject and free energy and some of the things that I feel would just usher in that golden age fast. And I do feel that, like, truth can't be hidden no more. I do believe that the Internet's like a new consciousness, and you can instantly just tap into that universal consciousness to get an answer to any question, right? And it's just, let's use it to our advantage. Let's use technology to help set people free, right? Because we can't, be violent. We can't beat the system by saying we're going to, go to war with somebody. We need to beat the system by awakening the people until the soldiers can realize that when I'm shooting other people in Afghanistan, I'm really shooting myself, because we're all one, right? There should be no reason for somebody to want to have hate, but I guess as long as we're in this constant vibration, us as humans take responsibility and just decide that we got what we, what we manifested. So let's just do something about it. Let's just create some change. And that's where the shift truly is. The shift is within thyself. I believe the shift, you need to occupy self, occupy pineal gland, exercise meditation, do the basics, stick to your foundation, find the founder, and just go live your life and, enjoy it, because it's a beautiful journey.
Oh, yeah. Quite the journey indeed. Definitely, man. Cool. Okay. I just want to actually go back a little bit. Like, one of the things, I'm just kind of reading some of the comments, and of course, shout out to, we got 74 people in the live chat, which is an awesome amount to see. So I just want to be able to reflect on one of the comments Carlin was actually mentioning, and she was saying that she let go of wanting money at all, and she surrendered to the flow, and then through that, the universe like provides us with what we need, because like what we need may not necessarily be what we want. And that's something I'm particularly interested in, is this idea of, like, there's a part of us that like money it can be a very dangerous thing in a lot of cases. Our desire for it, not necessarily money itself, but our desire for money can be a very dangerous thing in the way that how that can sort of influence our spiritual path in a lot of senses. But I want to go back, because I mean, in terms of clarity, I'm still curious, because I wanted to be able to just, like, for my own sake and for the people listening, to be able to ask, like, the money that you're making, like, where does it come from, so to speak, is something that I'm still not entirely entirely clear upon and curious about, just in terms of like how that can sort of give an example. Because what I was going to say, like, and just to sort of take a moment here to invite people to contribute to the paradigm shift stuff that we're doing, is that like the money that is like ending up through helping me support my lifestyle is like through the products that I sell, such as the Journey to Lucidity movie on DVD, which can be purchased at ParadigmShiftCentral.com/JTL, and it's helping support the sequel, which is going to be Journey to Lucidity 2, Tree of Knowledge, and it's going to be totally awesome because the more we get closer to that date, the more ideas that's coming to me, but we'll talk about that later. But one of the things that I actually just wanted to run past you, Justin, because like in addition to the buttons are an amazing thing that we got, and that's helping raise funds for the community. This new thing that I've sort of put some attention towards just recently in terms of ways to raise funds for this community, which I think is a really interesting way to do it in this day and age, is through this idea of inviting people within the paradigm shift community to become micro transactions as monthly supporters, as monthly contributors. So the idea that instead of asking people to like fork out like $30 or $40 just because, rather you invite people to say like, hey, we can all afford $1 a week. So if we get everybody to do $1 a week, then that's $4 a month. And then if we get like 100 people doing that, and potentially even 200 down the road, then this is supporting the creation of more conscious media, and the idea that this is going to create more projects, and this is going to extend the outreach of the messages that these projects are carrying, which as a light worker is like all about like awakening conscious and empowering people, reminding them of the fact that like there's we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we have far more potential than we realize, and just really cueing them in with these type of things and laying down the foundations for future generations. So I will just say for the people who are listening to this show, first of all, you can go back and check out all of the past episodes of Paradigm Shift Radio on MP3 and load those onto your MP3 player at the archive at ParadigmShiftCentral.com/PSR. And if you are interested in supporting the future of the production of this show and more media, then you can become a monthly contributor at ParadigmShiftCentral.com/donate. And we already have, I think, 9 people signed up as monthly supporters. So I would love to be able to get more people synced up with that, the people who have been listening to the show for a while, who get value out of this show, and just to be able to help us, be able to help continue to reach it. But again, like that's one idea. This idea of microtransactions, I think, is a very powerful thing because, like I said, you're not asking people to break their bank. And within the conscious community, it seems to be a very common thing where people don't really have an abundance of money to begin with, which is why talking to you is a very interesting topic, because it's just like, well, again, where did all this money come from, so to speak?
Let me jump in, and I apologize for I get into metaphors and stories, and I lose my train of thought, which is why I'm the hippie Jedi, right? And so the same way, man, like my wife and I, we're part of this freedom community, and this community, Mario is a part of as well. We offer personal development products as well as marketing educational products. And these products, they are the best products I've ever come across. It's the products that I actually tapped into about 2 years ago that helped me have my paradigm shift in the way that I marketed online. And I've been able to, since then create a 7-figure income with the products that, this community offers. So I market what I believe in, and it's something that I've personally used right now to create my income. So, what I do, the reason I'm so successful at what I do is I provide a lot of value to people and to the marketplace, whereas most people just try to sell stuff online where, the psychology of people is people hate to buy. People hate to be sold, but they love to buy, right? So if you're a person of value, the same way you are, brother, doing this whole community thing, people are happy to donate to you because they know where your heart is at. And it's the same thing with, people wanting to buy something. Regardless of what product you have, there's a marketplace for it. You just need to understand how to attract people from that niche market. So this is, I do it all from Facebook, and, this is another topic for another day, and, I have training calls and stuff where I teach this stuff, but you need to build a list, a community, you need to build something with subscribers, and just just for an example, an email list of people who are opting into you because you're providing value on a website, and they say, I want more information, or I want to get on your newsletter, and then, you can have products that you introduce them, but you can't just try to sell somebody. You have to build a relationship, you have to provide lots of value, and then, give people what they're looking for, and that's basically what I do. Most people, I believe, are looking for freedom. I'm here to tap into the people that, are looking for freedom and help them attain it, because I feel I can teach people and mentor those who are open-minded and willing to learn. I can't teach everybody, and I won't teach everybody, but, the right people I want to be around are the people I choose to work with, and and we do these big events where we gather. There's thousands of us. Our next one's in Miami here in about 10 days, and there'll be people from all around the world, which is a beautiful thing because we're all uniting. And I remember doing some team trainings and open it up with qigong, which is a form of breathing meditation, and just be able to raise people's spirits. Is like the biggest thing, and for me it's the most exciting part of what we do is going to events. So I also encourage people just get out and go to events to connect with other people, because I grew up introverted and I was always shy, and I never had a lot of friends because I never chose to. I can just play in my room by myself. I can sit in a room and meditate and be delighted, right, and just be the happiest kid on earth. I can have no TV in my room and just be cool playing with my fingers. I just keep myself motivated, right? So I grew up naturally. I remember meeting my wife today, Dee, who many of you may know. I met her on the internet because I was too shy back then to go to a club. I didn't like bars. I didn't just vibe with consciousness of people drinking a lot of alcohol. So I'm like, how do I meet girls, right? So one day I went on an MSN chat room back when they used to have chat rooms. This was like 10 years ago, maybe even 11, my favorite number. And in the Skype or in the group below this live cast here, you can type in 1111, which is also my mastery number, being born on February 11th in the year 83. And you throw 8s and 3s, you got 11s. You throw 7s and 4s, you have 11s. You add up my address here, and it's 1111. 11 was also the year that they released Return of the Jedi. Call that a coincidence, right? Return of the Jedi came out in 1983, the same year I came out of my wife's womb, in room 1111 at the Trump International. Not too long ago, I found out my wife was pregnant with our baby Jedi in room 1111 on the 11th, and it's crazy because the due date from the doctors is like the 13th, but I just have a feeling it's coming on the 11th.
Quite possibly. All right, I'll just jump back. I don't know if you noticed what you said there. You just said that you came out of your wife's womb. I just wanted to clarify that was I just wanted to don't want to start any weird rumors here or anything. So yeah. So anyways, but yeah, cool, man. All right, okay. With 40 minutes left in the show, just sort of give people a little bit of heads up. I would like to be able to bring some callers onto the show a little bit later, by about the, let's say, 27-minute mark. We'll bring some callers onto the show, and then I would also like to be able to do a group meditation. And Justin, this wasn't something that we talked about earlier, but would you be interested in leading us into a group meditation in some way or another?
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah? Okay, cool. All right. So we'll do that within the last 10 minutes. And at 10 minutes, we'll do the draw for the free shift buttons. And again, if you want to get in the draw for the free shift buttons, send a message to facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio and just tell us that you want in the draw. And if you want to be able to help contribute and show your love for this conscious project, then you can send a donation to GoFundMe.com/ParadigmShiftCentral. And if we get one more donation before the end of the show, then we will be giving out 2 batches of free shift buttons. And those will literally be changing people's lives. Those buttons are opportunities to be able to hack the matrix in incredible ways. And of course, you can order those at ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons at any time. But what I would actually like to get into, and I want to be able to invite Mario into this conversation as well, but really just sort of saying, like, how can we Well, I'm just trying to think of a good question, but in particular, but like, you know, the idea of freedom is not dependent on money. Like, how else can we find freedom in our life, like outside of the concept of money? If I mean, based on what you said, like you came from a sense where like you didn't always have money. So I guess in a roundabout way to ask it, like if you were suddenly to just give away all of your money tomorrow, or rather if you were to be talking to somebody who was personally not interested in money, like what ways can you suggest to someone that they go about like finding that freedom, finding that spiritual balance within the perspective of their own life? And maybe Mario, I mean, just if you have a response to that, I'd kind of be curious to hear what you have to say to invite you into this. And okay, cool. And then Justin can bounce off some ideas off of that. But Mario, go ahead. Yeah, what would you think?
I think I found the answer to that question at the end of the event I attended in Washington, when David Sharp, he spoke and he said that freedom is really not about material. It's more about freeing your mind, freeing yourself from yourself, spirit from your ego. I don't know how to express it exactly, but really just questioning your beliefs, and you can reprogram yourself, learning how to program yourself to your advantage, to use your success mechanism that's automatic, like a guided missile. You can shoot for a target, what you want to accomplish, you make it crystal clear. You write it down. Like I've been feeding myself with personal development on a daily basis from mentors, from the community that we're a part of, and I have this big picture, and I have these tools, the technology, the automation systems, but it all starts with the mind, because you have to step out of your comfort zone and that self-made prison that we are programmed to put ourselves on since birth, and what the adults tell us to do. This is, I actually, like, I'm 19 years old right now, and I dropped out of college because of this, because I wanted to program myself to my advantage. I started listening to personal development and questioning who I listened to, and that changed everything. That really opened and shifted my paradigm and led me into finding this show, led me into purchasing a collection of audios. Think and Grow Rich is a great book, and there's audios for that book, and this whole concept of finding our infinite potential. So freedom, it's really freeing yourself internally. That's what real freedom, and the money is just a reflection of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just to set this up for Justin, I mean, again, like that's something I'm really interested in, and you know, even when we think of the story of Buddha, like he relinquished, like he let go of all of his material possessions, because I mean, a car, a fancy TV, a big house, these are all great, but at the end of the day, like we don't take any of that with us into like the where we go when we transition from this realm into the next. And what we do take with us is our attitude, is our perception, is our genuine feeling about the life that we lived. Because, I mean, that's kind of a common thing that you'll see. People who chase money, they'll obtain all these material possessions, yet on their deathbed, they have all this regret sort of thing. But, again, like Justin, what do you think? Like, what is the key to finding freedom outside of the desire for financial security in some form or another?
Right on, man. Excellent question. And it just brings me back to a quote from the Bible. I don't even remember who said it, whether it was Moses or Jesus. I don't even know. But and a lot of people believe this concept, and this is what people believe, that money is the root of all evil, but it's the love of money or the desire to have money. I can understand that being the root of all evil. I also believe in non-attachment. Like, for example, I am not attached to things. However, I'm just being real. About 8 years ago, I was attached to a lot of things. I had to look pretty and have, like, a watch with, bling-bling on it. I had to, try to impress people to make it look like I had money. Maybe I'd have to wear a new pair of sneakers. Maybe I'd have to dress a certain type of way to impress somebody. But the truth be told, now that I have money, I I am myself. I have long hippie hair. I don't have anything that would really impress anybody. I do have a pretty decent house. However, I have a used car that I bought cash that I am more than happy with that is not a Mercedes. And also maybe the old me would have said, I make 7 figures, I'm driving a Lamborghini to show people how rich and abundant I am. But the funny thing is I walk into a bank now, they probably think I am poor and homeless, and then, they check my bank statement, and they're just like, holy crap, what do you do for a living? And then I always come up with like a clever answer. I'm like, well, I just, I fight the forces of evil. Or they see my shirt and it says fight the forces of evil, and they're just like shaking their head like, what the heck is it, that you do? But for me, it's obviously not about the money. It's the success that I like. I like succeeding in things. I like accomplishing goals because of that person it, creates that you become and grow into on that journey. So more than anything, people can attain money by using the internet. This is my best way to simplify it, and choosing, as I gave you the Bruce Lee metaphor, choosing a technique, because I'm just saying, there's people, there's marketers, and there's entrepreneurs, and there's freedom fighters on Facebook making 6 figures a year. There's also people on, Facebook just earning an extra couple $100 a year, and then there's people on Facebook earning 7 or I don't know, whatever you have a goal for. Learn from somebody. Plug into people who can teach you something that they know. Just make sure that, you can do some research and make sure it really vibes with you. Use your own intuition. I'm not saying there's any one path to get there. The truth be told, I know entrepreneurs who have created a fortune on the internet, many of which have created fortunes way beyond mine, and they've done it all different ways, right? I think the key aspect at the end of the day is how strong is your mind developed, right? At the end of the day, how strong, how sincere were you in your daily cultivation of your spirituality? Because I feel like I'm so good at what I do because I feel like I'm consciously connected. To be able to go on a stage, not pre-plan a single thought and just download consciousness and speak life, into people and to be in the flow, I don't pre-plan nothing. I don't pre-plan, I don't like to think about something else. I like to experience the now, and the only reason I'm able to do that is because I focused a good portion of energy into figuring out the flow of money, which can be created using Facebook. Learn from somebody who is, already doing what it is you want to do, and seek their guidance if they're willing to teach you. You got to be diligent about finding a mentor. One of the things, I did read Tony Robbins, and I was a big fan of Jim Rohn, and all these incredible personal development speakers, but I never, ever had opportunities to be able to, meet them and be able to learn from them and to be able, pick up a phone and be able to call them. So, for me, it wasn't enough, right? I needed to be around it because I believe the fastest shortcut to success is getting around successful people, because I will tell you, I got around my mentor before I was super successful. I was earning like $3,000 or $4,000 a month. It was one of my best months in this company. I got around him, and this is a guy who makes, multiple 7 figures, very, very ultra successful. I got around him. We went on a raw food retreat together in Costa Rica. And after that retreat, I just left a different person because I observed the mannerism, the thoughts, his way of thinking, his perception. I was able to ask him questions. I was able to show him what I was doing. You know what I mean? So I attribute that to a part of success fast. Just find the mentor willing to teach you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think learning how to learn as well. There's levels to it, and the goal to reach is the unconscious competence. So really studying how to learn what you want to learn and getting the foundation right is going to facilitate the process.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I sort of going back to stuff we were talking about earlier, I would love to sort of see a future where money is not sort of like the determinant factor sort of like you said, the freedom that people deserve, and kind of, you know, going with what Justin's saying, those of us who are in a position where we're fortunate enough to be able to manifest some sort of financial value, like the most valuable thing that we can do in addition to sharing it is like teaching people to generate that freedom within their own means. And you know, I sort of think of like that parable of you know, if you give a man a fish, like he'll eat it, but then he'll be hungry later, as opposed to teaching a man to fish and then he'll be able to sustain himself. And then the idea that if you teach a man how to build a fishing rod, he'll be able to teach his children how to build a fishing rod, and then you're sort of creating that foundation and stuff like that. But I mean, there's a lot of interesting other aspects within this conversation. I mean, I personally just sort of love the idea of again, just being able to sort of use goods and services as a means to be able to exchange with one another, instead of being so dependent on this piece of paper that we attach an imaginary value to. But maybe we'll, you know, that may come up, and I will say, just for everybody who's listening to the show, after the show, we'll be doing an after-party hangout through the Google Hangout feature, and you will find the link for that posted through facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio. So for everybody who wants to get involved with more conversation, then be sure to check out that. And again, that will be posted after this episode airs. And also a reminder to everybody in the show, this is an awesome, excellent opportunity for us to be able to connect with each other. So at this point, I would invite everybody to post their Facebook profiles into the live chat, to be able to say that you are inviting anybody there to be able to connect with you. So there's 69 people in the live chat, which is actually one of my resonating numbers. So again, just inviting people to post that there and invite each other to be able to connect with one another. So that's another awesome way that we can continue to just strengthen the grid through that sense. Now, with about 30 minutes left in the show, you know, we said at the beginning we were going to talk about like the pineal gland and just like the secrets of that, and we've touched upon it. We touched upon meditation and stuff like that. And I would like to be able to just like get in, let Justin sort of go for a little bit. So maybe we'll just give a couple extra minutes, and then we'll bring some callers on at about 25 minutes. One of the things I just got to say, because this is almost like one of my pet peeves, people always say this. They always say that we want to decalcify our pineal gland. Now, based on my information, I think this may be a misconception, in the sense that what is actually happening, a calcified pineal gland is actually the good thing, because calcified means that there's like the energy that the calcium crystals are creating that can allow the energy to flow through. Decalcified means that there isn't this concurrent electrical system, and that is what means that the pineal gland is less active. So when we say that fluoride calcifies the pineal gland, we should be saying that it actually decalcifies it, and we actually do want to have that calcium crystal on the pineal gland, because so it can be more conducive. But again, I may be wrong, but that was like something I heard and it resonated with me. And then I think this whole decalcification thing just sort of like picked up as a meme. People have been riding it ever since. But the important thing is that we want to be healthy. That is like the underlying message in some way or another. But yeah, I just I want to let Justin sort of just almost give a summary of his key points that he wants to share about the pineal gland, and that you can actually watch in one of the videos, and we'll link his video into the show notes for this. And just reminding people that this show will also be available on YouTube afterwards, and you can listen to this at any point. But yeah, again, like I love the fact that the pineal gland has been historically, symbolically represented all throughout cultures, and again, relating to the third eye. But Justin, yeah, for those of us who have no idea what the heck a pineal gland is, what is it, and why is it so important within this spiritual journey that we're on?
Right on, brother. And I'm going to answer your question with a metaphor for what you were just talking about. And it's Bruce Lee, again, one of my favorites, from Enter the Dragon. You know, he's sparring at the Shaolin Temple. I believe he's going against this younger kid, and you know, he's practicing because he's like the teacher, like for the kid. And then he slaps the kid, and he says, "Don't think, feel." It's like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger, or you'll miss all that heavenly glory. And I think when, you know, people are too focused on, you know, do you pronounce it pineal or is it pineal? I think, you know, you're missing the whole point, and whether people choose to, I never heard that correlation, but, you know, there's truth in every perception, and the way that you're teaching to perceive it, it has the truth in it. So I just say, let's not focus on the little things, and let's just keep our mind and shift and focus on the big picture, that there is a pineal gland. Most people, it's full of toxins, regardless what we want to call it. And what we need to do about it is just create the conscious awareness. I mean, I start thinking that these are the questions that keep me up at night. What can we do to help people have conscious awareness from what this has been hidden and suppressed from them their whole lives? And so my mission is to just get the word out. The way that I do that, right, I do that through the internet. I drive traffic through Facebook. I do free advertising. I do paid advertising, and I'm not shy about it. I can spend $20,000 or $30,000 a month just advertising a video because it's awakening people and because I'm helping them get what they want. Naturally, it just creates this, abundant lifestyle to where I can really be able to fulfill my higher purpose and be able to do bigger and better things because, 2013 was a successful year, but I'm never to the point like I have accomplished, right? There's always so much growth, and there's infinite levels to growth. Even Steve Jobs was growing, God bless and rest his soul, but there's always new levels to get to, and there's always a bigger playing scale. Regardless how much money you create, there's going to be groups of people that create a lot more money that you're not going to be able to, experience some of the things that they experience unless you were at that fundamental point, which is it's crazy, but there's just different levels to life. But I believe once you understand how the game of life is played, or we can use a metaphor or an example like the game of chess, you can control the board. You can learn how the game is played. You can realize by controlling the 4 center squares in the middle of that 64, square board that you can control the game. You can control the flow. And life, let me just tell you, it's a spiritual playground, my friends. You are here to learn. You are here to overcome whatever struggles you're facing right now. You're here to just accomplish your dreams. You're here to experience freedom. And that should be our main focus. Our main focus shouldn't be, worrying about waking up at 5 a.m. so, you can go to work for 8 hours and be away from your family and not be able to pick up a book like the rest of the Americans in the United States. You know what I mean? We have to create change, and I believe it all starts with awareness. And just to simplify the entire process, let's awaken people by using the internet, which is the most incredible tool we have ever been blessed with, to be able to build a business, a tool to be able to spread knowledge. Let's just focus on using the internet to spread the message and plug people into the knowledge because everybody is on it, and if you can figure out that skill set, not only can you create and manifest your dreams, but you can do a lot of good. You can fulfill your higher purpose. You can create bigger visions. You can feel accomplished. You can fulfill, and help other people fulfill their dreams. And there's just limitless, infinite potential, right? What if we taught everybody to just create so much money to where we wouldn't need money no more, right? It'd have no effect on us. What if we were able to share the information that's out there about free energy that has been suppressed and enough people were aware of it to the point that they can't hide it no more, to the point we don't need oil no more, to the point we don't have to go to war no more, to the point they have no excuse to go to war no more? You know what I mean? It's like everything is connected, but there's key elements that I feel we should focus on when we bring about conscious awareness. And I think the pineal gland being the gateway to the spiritual world and the spiritual antenna, let's just spread the awareness. Let's just get the word out. It's our job.
Yeah. Definitely. And no, there absolutely is more to talk about with the pineal gland, but we'll probably, we've talked about it plenty of times before, and I encourage people to do the research for themselves and also to be able to check out Justin's video, and you can find that most recently posted up at Justin Hippie Jedi fan page on Facebook. And I think you summed it up there when you said spiritual antenna, and that is one of the key things. But also just reminding people to pay attention to the fact that the pineal gland is a very real thing, but also don't be in a rush with this idea of thinking of it as like a shortcut to spiritual enlightenment. Do not forget that we have all the other energy parts of our body, and it's important to be able to focus on all of them, from the root, being able to ground ourselves, from the sacral, being able to work with our emotions, moving up through our heart, feeling and knowing what it is like to feel, and then moving up, practicing speaking with our voice to our brow, seeing and connecting to truth, and opening up to the crown and higher awareness. And through that, the pineal gland is part of that path. The pineal gland is not the be-all, end-all, but yes, it is a very, very interesting puzzle piece in this whole process of connecting the dots and shifting paradigms. And absolutely, I think as more people become aware of the fact that the pineal gland is is something, and the whole like DMT process releasing, because I mean that's a simple idea, is that like theoretically or at this point scientifically it's been pretty much proven that the DMT, the chemical release through the pineal gland during dreams, is the same chemical that is released like during death and also during birth. So it definitely correlates to this idea that it is like a stargate. It is like this transmission fluid that is lubricating a signal being received and sent when we are in these altered states of consciousness. The consciousness that we are in when we are in our waking life is only one state of consciousness, and we experience other states of consciousness all the time throughout our reality. So if we can become more in tune with our dreams, if we can awaken within our dreams, then we will begin to awaken more within this reality. And I'm sure Justin would agree with me, but everything is equally unreal is kind of the way how I like to think of it. But within that thought, it opens up to the potential that our thoughts are literally creating this reality, and we have far more potential than we realize. But definitely, we there's so much more to get into there. But I gotta say, we gotta invite some callers onto the air, because I want to make sure that we get some more voices in on this. But I'll just pass it over to Justin. Justin, was there anything else that you just want to sort of mention and summarize on that before we bring some callers on?
I think you summarized it really great. You know, there's perceived shortcuts, but the best way and the true way would be to do it naturally. If you don't need plant medicine, then obviously it's just not necessary to do so. And, you know, there's other aspects that can be dangerous if you just, you know, decided to do it all by yourself and not research it, not take the time to understand it, not necessarily have the sensation or download that it's your time to experience it. And naturally, it can be awakened. And I think the easiest way is simple diet, which is back to the basics, and meditation and, you know, other spiritual practices. Do it on a daily basis.
Yeah, definitely. And most obvious tip that I can give people, you know, if I ask people here, like, how many people here are interested in dream exploration? Raise your hands. Okay. Now, how many people here are actively writing down their dreams on a regular basis? You know, might not be as many. So I encourage people that they are interested in just understanding more about this reality, look more into dream exploration. That is the most immediate portal that we have into seeing more of ourselves through the lens of the dreams. The dreams are like a magnifying glass into our subconscious, and through the subconscious we find these symbols that would begin to reveal more of who we are, which is an awesome thing. And we'll talk more about dream exploration. Actually, one thing that I will just say, for those of you who are tuned in this week, I'll confirm this later in the week, but in terms of the guests coming up for the next week, I just got to double check this, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be having on Santos Bonanici. I always forget how to pronounce his last name, but Santos Bonanici or something. He is really into astrology. Very brilliant man. You've probably seen videos of him on YouTube. But stay tuned for that. Yes, astrotheology, that's right. Yeah, so we're looking forward to getting him on the show next week. And then after that, we'll be doing a community call-in episode, and everybody will be able to get in on that one. But yeah, with that said, I'd like to be able to bring on some callers, and I apologize to some of the callers. We won't be able to get through to all of you, but we'll see if we can get through at least a couple here. And then at 10 minutes, we're going to have to segue to do the button draw. And there's going to be 2 people getting batches of buttons, so thank you to those who have been donating to the GoFundMe.com/ParadigmShiftCentral, and feel free to donate to that anytime. But anyways, caller from area code 682. If you are ready, we are going to bring you onto the air. It says that they're queued up, so I just want to give them a second to get ready. So again, caller from area code 682. We're going to bring you onto the air, and feel free to just add any questions or thoughts that you want to add into this conversation. So here we go. Whoops. Hello, caller. Are you ready? Can you hear us? Sorry, caller. Are you there? The caller may not be there. Yes.
Yeah,
sorry.
Sean?
Yeah, caller. Can you hear us?
Oh, yeah. I'm glad I found you guys. I've been, kind of following Justin for many, many, many years. I've actually spoke to him back when he was in his $2,000 to $4,000 a month. So, and I've just kind of been listening in, and I'm starting to learn. I don't know if I really have any questions. I just I gotten a law of attraction probably a year ago, and I see success, but it just I'm having a hard time breaking through, and I still have I don't know what it is. Anger issues and issues with just breaking through spiritually.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll pass this off to Justin. One of the things that I was reminded of this today, just when you were saying, there's these troubles. We have troubles in our life. I think the brain in itself has a negativity bias, and it's quite easy for us to sort of get drawn on the things that we can nitpick about, which is why a show like this is important, because it reinforces the repetition of the positive. And by repeating the things that are positive, it actually reprograms our brain. So it's about getting into this state where we can really appreciate all the things that we have. A simple thing could be like wake up in the morning and write 5 things that you're happy for, and to just be able to let go of expectations of the same sense, and the idea of fear. Like fear is false expectations appearing real sort of thing. But yeah, I'm just sort of like speeding through this. But Justin, caller, I didn't get your name. What's your name?
Sean.
Sean. Well, thank you for calling in, Sean. And Justin, did you have a response that you want to just pass on to Sean there?
Right on, Sean. And I guess there's millions of bits of advice I can give one, but more than likely you may already recognize the thing that's holding you back, and more than likely it may be the false expectations appearing real, which is probably the biggest issue in most people's disconnects with really manifesting what they truly want. So what I feel, and just my opinion, is getting around the people you want to be like as much as possible. For example, if there is an event and you can get to it. Be willing to do things you were never willing to do before in order to attain the growth that you truly need. That would be the shortcut. Of course, everything is mental. I do believe that success, probably, in just my opinion, I believe it's 98% mental. As crazy as that sounds, because what I do, anybody can do. The actual work that I do, I can pay someone $5 an hour to do it for me, respond to people on Facebook, right? What I do is not rocket science. I'm just able to overcome my problems and overcome a lot of problems, which is a natural progression of life, and be willing to, make a game out of it. I do believe it kind of is a game. This is crazy. We're in this crazy thing we perceive as reality. In my mind, it is a game. It is a game. And I believe that Buddha said it best. He said the 3 things you need to learn in life, and this is the ancient true Buddha here, and he said you need to learn to love, you need to learn to live, and you need to learn to let go, which all comes back to non-attachment we briefly touched upon earlier. But money is just a resource. Now that I make a lot of money, I'm never in possession of money, because I don't ever use paper money, because to be honest, I don't like it. I just want to be able to do what I want to do. I don't want my hands smelling like somebody's dirty underwear. Who knows where that was. But it's an energy flow that you can master. Just stay focused, brother, and know that you can do this and you will do it. It's just, a matter of time before it happens. Does that make sense, Sean?
Yes. Is a lot of it like, being repetitive and thinking positive, and, it's making a habit of spending time to do that?
It's definitely not just thinking positive. It's the vibration of energy that you resonate at the end of the day. So it is repetition. I mean, you can repeat things over and over and over, which come from affirmations, which are great, and that can train the unconscious. But at the end of the day, when you're sleeping, it's controlling your reality of your future. As crazy as that sounds, I believe the energy at which we go to bed at is probably one of the most important things. So just something I recommend never doing is watching TV such as the news before going to sleep. Listen to something incredibly inspiring, like this radio show or the replay from last week or something. Listen to that before you go to bed. Ask yourself questions and start recognizing yourself as the co-creator you truly are. Be like, how can I manifest, if you're looking to manifest a car, if you're looking to manifest 10,000, start putting the question out there, how can I, right? And before you go to bed, that is just floating out there in the ether, but in the day, you got to act as if you already have it, meaning you got to be willing to do the activity that people do at that level, making that income, and maybe that's putting 2 hours of laser-focused action on income-producing activity, which, most people, they say they're working, but most people people are just wasting time because what they're doing is not getting results. So, that's why it comes back to mentoring being an aspect. But this is like a big puzzle, and there's many pieces, but the key is the simplicity of the aspect that I believe if you program your mind daily by reading a book, back to the basics, I believe if you listen to an empowering audio every day, and I believe if you meditate a little every day and you have a good mentor, you will probably succeed. And it sounds crazy, but those little things are the little things, because I've mentored thousands of people over the years. I've personally sponsored in my current business over 1,800 people in less than 2 years, right? I've worked with so many people. I've gone to events and gathered with thousands of people, and I realized that the people that don't do the basics, they just don't succeed. And it does sound crazy, but in my eyes and my experience, that's where the true breakthrough is going to come, from daily cultivation of the key core foundational things that just makes a person a good, happy, successful, wealthy being.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Sean, does that give you some?
Yeah, I appreciate that. That definitely, that's a lot of good insight.
Cool, man. Cool.
Thanks,
Sweet.
brother.
Well,
I appreciate you popping on New Paradigm Radio with us.
I'm glad I found it. This is awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and of course, everybody listening, definitely come back and tell your friends about this. Like, the more people who find out about programs like this is us creating our own media. This is the alternative to listening to the news at 6 o'clock sort of thing. This is our story, our ongoing documentation. So this is some pretty exciting stuff here on Paradigm Shift Radio. And Sean, thank you for calling in. We're going to have to move along here and move into the next part. But just go ahead and just say thanks again and talk to Justin further. Go ahead.
Oh, are you talking to me?
Yeah, sorry. No, if you just wanted to say goodbye, like actually without me.
Oh, yeah, man. I appreciate Justin. Like I said, you've been an inspiration. I've watched you grow. I mean, in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, I've watched you online for 4 or 5 years, and so you're definitely inspiration, and I definitely take your advice to heart. And thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for calling in. One love. Talk to you later. Cool. All right, so we got about 9 minutes left in the show. So with this said, we will be going into our button draw, and we got all the names in for the button draw. So I'm going to be doing that, and like I said, we're going to be doing 2 names for the button draw. But before I do that, I just wanted to make sure that we got people being able to connect with Justin appropriately. So Justin, just tell people ways that they can get connected with you and what they're doing and what you're doing.
I do appreciate that, because I have like a ton of different Facebooks, and there's more content written about me and created about me than I actually have out there, because when I go to an event, there's 6,000 people with a video camera, and they all just upload videos of my speeches, and I appreciate that so very much. But the website to connect with me that I actually own would be hippiejedi.com, HIPPIEJEDI.com, and that's would take you to a lead capture page, which will ask for your email address. So if you want to get on my list, if you want to tap into my law of attraction training, and you just want to get emails from me on pretty much a daily basis, empowering information on pretty much balancing spirituality in a financial world, because that just defines what I do here, because I just love expressing myself spiritually. I love people expressing their true selves. I believe that's another reason why we're here. So anyone can go to hippiejedi.com, enter their email, get on my email list, and start plugging into my videos. I have like autoresponders, and I usually send a fresh email that is up to date and concurrent every day. The one I sent yesterday was Happy 11th, and I just told people why I love the number 11.
Definitely. That was a good one. I've read that one too. Cool. All right. Well, that's great. That's great. And definitely, I'm happy to be able to connect with you here today. And we'll go into not necessarily a traditional meditation, but more like a reflective meditation. So I'll be playing some background music, and you can just sort of verbally just sort of get us into that trance where we can just reflect on whatever it is that you want to bring to our attention in that moment. But before we do that, let's get into the big exciting aspect of the show as we do our button draw. So I got a bunch of the names here, several of the names inside of my Tibetan singing bowl. So I'm gonna play my Tibetan singing bowl as I synchronistically pull this. So if people listening want to do like a collective Om. And the first name, so the first name we got coming out is Bobby. So Bobby is the first one who we got, who's the winner. And then I'm just going to do a quick ring around, and okay, and synchronicity is chosen. Lives will be changed. Second person that we got is Carlos. All right, so Bobby and Carlos are the winners of the free buttons for this week. And if you want to get in on the draws, then you can always tune in next week to Paradigm Shift Radio. And of course, you don't have to wait to get the free buttons. You can always order them online at ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons. And again, use the promo code PSR. But with that said, just thanking everybody. Of course, go to ParadigmShiftCentral.com. Check out the Conscious Media on there. Check out the 5-minute video at the beginning if you aren't familiar with the project. Spend some time browsing the website. There's a lot of great content on there, great community content, and Facebook.com/ParadigmShiftRadio and ParadigmShiftCentral.com. So I'm going to set this up, and Justin's going to pretty much lead us right into about the last minute of the show, just sort of taking a moment here to reflect on what it is that we have talked about tonight. And of course, thank you to Mario as well. But I'm gonna mute myself, Justin. I'm gonna mute myself, and it's just gonna be you, and I'm gonna have some background music playing, and then with about 1 minute left, we'll come on and say our final farewells. So does that work for you?
Excellent, man. So how long did you want me to go for again?
About 4.5 minutes. Not even.
Okay.
4 minutes, yeah. Okay. All right. It's all you, man. Go ahead.
Awesome. And I'm just going to go ahead and meditate with everybody. And I just, obviously, if you're driving a car and such, pull over before doing the exercise. But here we go. And I love that Tibetan bowl, by the way. I have one in my meditation room. Everyone inhale slowly. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And as you're inhaling, you're drawing the energy from basically your feet from the ground to the earth, and you're raising it up. And as I'm doing this exercise with you, I am standing on my 2 feet, typically shoulder width apart, how I practice my Qigong. And as I'm inhaling, deep into the lower abdomen, also known as the Dantian. I usually hold it for about 2 seconds and exhale. When I slow my breathing, exhale. And you can do it your way, whatever feels comfortable. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. And now as you begin to inhale, I want you to visualize a bright light. That's right. Exhale. And I like to visualize a circle, but you can visualize your favorite image, and there's no right or wrong, whatever comes to mind. Inhale. And as you inhale and fill your body with love and light, that shape just starts illuminating as you exhale. You can actually see it pulsate. Inhale. That shape is growing stronger as you exhale. Inhale and feel it vibrate. Very good. Exhale and let it grow. And as you continue exhaling and inhaling at your own comfortable pace, I want to remind you the power of visualizing during your meditation. This is the skill set of the adept. This is the skill set that exercises feelings and emotions that help you connect to higher intelligence, or as I refer to, intelligent infinity. So let's respect this divine, amazing power that we're blessed with as we inhale. Visualizing stronger. And as you exhale, you realize not only is this shape inside of you, it's surrounding you. As you inhale. And now, as you're exhaling, you realize it has a bright, divine light. This light can be any light, that you're comfortable with. As I inhale, I start to see a purple glow. It's beautiful. Something like I've never seen in real life. Exhale. Inhale. And the power of visualization is the ability to be able to create something even if it don't exist. Sometimes, and we're going to do this together, it's sexy and feels good. Inhale. I want you to visualize a color that doesn't exist, a color that you're creating using your love light vibration. As you exhale, really exercise the mind here as you inhale and start to glow and fill your body with love light consciousness. This color starts emanating from within inside of you. And it creates what I like to visualize as a force field of energy, as if I was in Dragon Ball Z and I had the powers of Goku and Gohan. Inhale. And as we exhale, this glowing light, it just grows and it just evolves surrounding the earth, right? And we can start to see on a macrocosm the larger picture of things. Inhale.
And we'll just say, keep breathing, but we're about to go off air. Join the after party at facebook.com/ForArmshiftRadio and continue breathing. So we're actually in the recording now, but Justin, just continue to transition and we'll wrap up the show in the next minute.
Excellent. As we continue, we're going to breathe 3 more times. Inhale. The glowing, the energy, the vibration, the color growing by 5 as we exhale. Inhale, stronger from the root to your toes. Inhale. And exhale. Energy is 5 times stronger. Make the last breath count. This is Qigong. Inhale. And now 10 times stronger as you exhale, becoming one with divine energy of love and light. Exhale. I thank you. Namaste.
Thank you as well, brother. Awesome. All right, so I'm just going to bring Mario on here, and we'll just officially wrap things up. And, of course, thank you to everybody who has been tuned in live. And, unfortunately, it would have been cut off from all of our live members in this moment, but for everyone who's listening to the recording of this show in the future, definitely thank you as well. So, Mario, any last words that you just wanted to put in there?
I'm just grateful, very grateful to find the mentors that helped me live bliss and find my infinite potential. So thank you.
Awesome. And Justin, any last words?
I just want to thank you, Mario, for that, man. That just means the world to me, and I just want to show my appreciation to you, Brendon, and as well as the entire audience who decided to invest into themselves, because that's where the journey really is. It's with thyself, and there's nothing more powerful than just always knowing and owning the fact that you are here for a reason. You're not just some random accident in the universe. There's so many synchronicities. And I'll just end it with saying 11:11, namaste, love and light.
Awesome. So again, much gratitude to everybody involved, and be inspired by the show and continue to help spread that inspiration further. Practice your own practice, and then be able to spread that love with others and carry that with you throughout the rest of your days. And that's how we change the world. It's that little thing. As the tide rises, so does every ship. So everybody has a role to play. So thank you for doing what you're doing. So Mario, Justin, join me in saying farewell to the internet, and until next time. So farewell, internet. Bye-bye.
Next
time. See you then. Namaste. Thanks, guys. One love. Thank you for listening to another episode of Paradigm Shift Radio. If you would like to connect with people where you are and continue the conversations further, then check out ParadigmShiftCentral.com/buttons to order your supply of shift buttons to share with people to help invite them to this global project while also helping make new friends and building local community where you are. Shift buttons are tools to hack the matrix and tap into the synchronistic nature of reality to accelerate our collective awakening. Enter the promo code PSR into your order to receive additional bonus buttons to your supply. Thank you again, and one love.